Dealing with the heart, lung and major arteries, cardiothoracic surgeons are very few, with 5 of them being Zimbabweans. Among them is Dr Kudzai Kanyepi, who has engraved her name in the medical history books as she is Zimbabwe's first female cardiothoracic surgeon, the 13th in Africa and the 4th of African descent. A product of government's manpower development program, Dr Kanyepi did her cardiothoracic specialty at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa after obtaining her medical degree at the University of Zimbabwe.
When you practice a career such as being a doctor, there are 3 things that are important. One is professional growth, the second is personal growth, and the third is service. I mean, you can serve anywhere outside the country and provide a service that will be thought of as great outside the country, but there's nothing more rewarding as serving your own people. So I came back because I wanted to serve my own people. We only have 5 cardiothoracic surgeons in Zimbabwe, and including myself. And so the need is big. So if we don't come back and start serving our people, we would be doing a great disservice to our own people.
Now in her 6th month at Parirenyatwa Group of Hospitals, Dr Kanyepi says she does not regret her decision to come back home and serve at public hospitals.
There are patients who have made an impact on my life that reaffirm my decision to come back. Yes, things may not be where we want them to be, but the only way they can get to where we want them to get to is if we continue to advocate for our patients, for ourselves, because we at any point in time can be patients. As one mentor said, ndinorwara, ndinorwarirwa. Okay? So we must always realize that we can become a patient. So we need to always advocate for where we want things to be.
Dr Kanyepi believes Zimbabwe has a formidable team of specialist health professionals which has the capacity to tackle complex operations.
That's the nice thing about capacity. You learn to crawl, to walk, then to run. So one of the things I must mention is that I was trained by the ministry in South Africa. They supported my training in South Africa. And this is all in an effort to build capacity, to be able to treat our own patients locally. And why I say that is because we now have manpower, okay? We now have manpower. We probably have more cardiac surgeons in Zimbabwe than some of our partners within the region, excluding South Africa. So we now have capacity and the skill level. We now need to continue to advocate to get us to the standard where we can now treat our own patients in India, who are going to India. So, for example, there are some things that we can treat here in Zimbabwe. For example, some children are born with a problem in the heart called a patent ductus arteriosus. We're doing these operations regularly. There's no waiting list for these operations, and our children survive. So our capacity is slowly scaling up, and as we learn to walk and run, very soon you'll hear that we have started doing these operations that are done in India here in Zimbabwe.
Even the patients are impressed by local doctors.
Kubva ndiwe first day randakaoperatwa racho ndakaoperatwa zvakanaka, but ingori nyaya yekuti ndakanzi ndairifambisa ranga risati rasupposed kunge richifamba, and pandakadzoka futi second day racho until now handimbopa wrong, vari right 100%, because inini vari kundibatsira hapana kana chandomboshora, and every morning yega unova vachindita check up kuona kuti gumbo rangu riri sei.
The team of specialist surgeons working at Parirenyatwa is conducting several medical procedures ranging from the repair of abnormally dilated arteries that can rupture, removal of the oesophagus for cancer, and pericardectomies, which is the removal of the sac that encasses the heart, which is usually removed when it is affected by TB. Operations to save children born with a heart condition called patent ductus arteriosus, which is an abnormal communication of arteries near the heart, are also being conducted at Parirenyatwa as government works on modalities to resume open heart surgeries locally, an indication that the country's health sector has turned the corner. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.